Imagine watching a car crash, but instead of the metal crumpling, the footage reverses. The glass unshatters, the vehicles pull apart, and everyone walks away. What if you possessed this exact knowledge, but for an event that hasn't happened yet? Knowing what happens 5 seconds from now would make you an apex predator. Knowing what happens 5 days from now would make you a billionaire. But knowing exactly how and when the world ends and realizing you can't stop it would be psychological torture. This brings us to a logical trap that philosophers call bilking. In 1956, Max Black used a simple analogy. Suppose a flawless clairvoyant tells you that you are going to die in a boating accident next Tuesday. Naturally, you decide to lock yourself in a windowless room hundreds of miles away from any body of water until Wednesday. By staying dry, you survive. But in doing so, you've created a paradox. If you successfully dodged the disaster, the prediction was wrong. And if the prediction was wrong, you didn't actually see the future. You only saw a possibility. Physics offers a different answer, rooted in the work of Albert Einstein. His theory of general relativity gives us the block universe, a model where the past, present, and future already exist simultaneously as fixed coordinates in spacetime. If all of time is already laid out, paradoxes are physically impossible. The Russian physicist Igor Novikov formalized this rule in the 1980s. The Novikov self-consistency principle dictates that the probability of any event occurring that creates a paradox is exactly 0. Imagine a billiard ball rolling directly into a wormhole. It exits in the past, intercepting its earlier self to knock it off course. But reality forbids contradictions. Instead, it delivers a glancing blow, the exact impact that originally knocked it into the wormhole. Every action you take to avoid a predicted fate becomes the very mechanism that fulfills it. In a deterministic universe, the swerve is part of the script. You don't change the future, you cause it. That rigid certainty falls apart at the atomic scale. Quantum mechanics describes a reality built on probability and observer-dependent chaos. This gives us a physical loophole to the bilking paradox, the many worlds interpretation. Under this theory, when you observe a potential future and make a choice to avoid it, you aren't fighting the math of a single timeline. Your choice forces reality to bifurcate. You fracture reality, creating a separate, parallel universe where you survive. But the math demands all possibilities play out. The tragic future still happens. You simply stepped onto an adjacent branch to dodge the terminal point. It is an isolating escape. You survive, but in doing so, you abandon a version of yourself to the very destiny you just ran away from. These cosmic physics eventually crash into human biology. Over 3 billion years of evolution, life has developed sensors for light, heat, magnetic fields, and even electrical currents. But no organism has ever evolved a sensory organ to perceive a fixed future. This chart shows the energy distribution of the human body. Our brain consumes a massive 20% of our daily caloric intake, burning most of that energy to anticipate and plan for a future that hasn't arrived. If the block universe is real, this energy spend creates an evolutionary puzzle. If the deer's fate is already etched into the fabric of spacetime, a high-calorie brain that deliberates its escape is a massive waste of resources. A fatalist might argue that this planning is just another predetermined domino. But if our choices were truly causally inert, evolution should have favored creatures with simpler, cheaper brains. Instead, the most successful species on Earth is the one that plans the most. This suggests that uncertainty isn't just a limit of our eyes, but a requirement for our survival. We may only possess the capacity for agency because the future remains hidden, allowing our planning to actually co-determine what happens next. To see the future with absolute certainty is to become a spectator to a finished film. To keep the power to choose, you must remain blind to what lies ahead. If offered the glimpse, would you truly want to know?